Excellent. And with that, I think we are live, everybody. So this is a somewhat special uh, edition of the Beat Drop, seeing as that no one on here is on the same team, to my knowledge, which is fun. We haven't had that ever happen. So it's just the Twitch team, a separate team.
The
No
best
main
team.
tanks, a lot of supports.
One DPS.
No,
Are we
not like actual
claiming
Overwatch
in
roles.
the
I'm talking about
community?
being supportive of Juke and Yeti and everyone else, Cav, getting all this together. But yes, sure, Bard, you're a damage dealer.
Yeah, I don't support anyone. In or out of the
Actually,
game.
Dora's kind of a tank, so there you go.
Oh, thanks,
Um,
man.
so let's go ahead from top of the call to bottom of the call. Introduce yourselves. We'll skip me, obviously. So Bard, go ahead.
I am Bard. Last season I played on Boop. This season, this off season, I play for no one as of now. I think I'm the newest to the Twitch team out of everyone in here. And I am easily recognizable for being a meme and not being able to be taken seriously.
Alright, my name's Dor. I came in to Overwatch Tranquility around week 7. I was honestly just looking to pick up casting because it sounded fun and I enjoy talking. But since then, I've just been working on improving and trying to do a bunch of matches. But honestly, it's just been a good experience so far, and I'm here to ride it out. And, I'm excited for next season.
I'm Juke. I've done production, casting, and all kinds of stuff for the Twitch team, and then I inherited kind of Twitch team lead or whatever about mid-season for Tranquility, and it's been a lot of fun.
Yeah, and then I'm Specs. Been doing this for, I was in the community season 1, did some casting and stuff last season, kind of filled in the roles we needed to this season, and didn't really do a ton of things behind the scenes, but just kind of there if we needed anything. So
Nice. Well, okay. So more on kind of what Specs was talking about, which is like, and Dora, you brought it up too. Is just like everyone's reason for being where they're at in the community. Dora, you have a really interesting role in my opinion of like not really, being associated with a team. Like Specs is tough luck. Juke was all over the place, but at the end of it, Instalock, I'm prodigious, Bard was boop, and now whatever. But Dora's Dora. Dora's casting. So like talk to me a little bit about that experience in the community of just being the I guess since no one sees you, but the face of the community when if someone tuned in, they would hear Door first most of the time.
I mean, yeah, like I mentioned, I came in around midway in the season and I had no experience casting. I had some fun casting some of my team's pugs one time, and someone suggested I do it, and I was looking for different places to do it, and Tranquility was one of the ones that came up. And after talking to Juke for a while, he decided to give me a shot, which was honestly, looking back at the VOD that I sent him of me casting for the first time, I am genuinely surprised he did. But from then on, honestly, for me, it's just like I played the game with my university, but I'm specifically like I'm here to cast and to have a good time casting, and it's something that I just really genuinely enjoy doing, and I like being able to present these matches because it's in such a great community and such a great tournament. And honestly, I think it's more so just an honor to be able to try and bring the matches out in the most exciting way possible for everybody watching. And so I think that's the biggest reason that I do it, and I'm just looking to continue and gain experience, and yeah, it's opened up a lot of nice little doors for me, and so I'm just gonna keep taking them and keep doing it.
Is
that why your name is Door?
Oh.
Yeah. No, my name is Door because my dad used to make this stupid joke. My brother and I would run in front of him when he was watching TV. He'd always say we made a better door than a window. Now here we are.
A better question is, does anyone's dad here not said that in the past?
Excellent question.
I've never heard that before.
Really?
Specs.
No.
Huh?
I mean, I'm Northeast though, aren't you guys like Central?
Well, I was
regional thing.
I was born in
My
Mass.
dad's not from
North,
this country, though,
Uh,
I grew up in Southern California.
Well, there you go.
I'm like Southeast, but Air Force has brought us everywhere. So
I'm about to say, yeah, military family kind of brought me all over the place. But yeah, I had dad from Mass, and he also said the crap out of that. And it's really annoying. So I'm glad you ran with it. But me, I knew you were gonna say it too. when the minute you said my dad, I was like, yeah, here it comes. So but yeah, that's super interesting. I like that a lot. That everyone here kind of like fulfills, if not one or two roles, like maybe three in the case of like Imperse and Juke and stuff like that, where they're all over the place with what they're doing in the community. Specs also is a great example. So it's interesting to see someone who's like really filled in as a role as well as you have, and I think in season 4 even more so, you'll just like shine as like, if we need to turn to anybody for some just quality casting who knows what they're doing, it's going to be you. So thanks for all you do, and good luck to you in season 4 and the rest of this.
Yeah, man.
Because
I'm
I had a
only
great
thankful to
time
everybody
casting with
for
you.
the
It was so much
opportunity.
fun.
Thank you, thank you.
So yeah, I might have to take that up again. I used to cast a little bit more than I do now, and I regret it. Having full-time jobs is dumb. Don't do it, kids.
Yeah, Dora is definitely the best caster that's
Oh
come
yeah.
from outside the community. We've had a lot that like come in and they're kind of excited about casting in general, but I just get this attitude from them like they don't really care about our community. Like they go into the matches and it's clear they like don't know who anybody is.
Mhm.
They couldn't care less about like the community aspect of it, and it kind of comes off in the casting. So a lot of those people have kind of moved on, uh, and I'm totally okay with that. A lot, a lot of the casters from inside the community are, great at like identifying who everybody is. They know all the stories and backgrounds of everybody, but availability is a big problem with a lot of them. So yeah, I'm glad Dor has been here and sort of become part of the community.
Oh yeah, no, definitely, because that was something that I noticed when I first joined the Twitch team after just joining the league with Prodigious, or the sorry, community. Slip up number 1. We'll
Oh,
keep a tally.
I didn't even catch it. I usually don't.
So you make it, Juke being you, make it extremely easy for a newcomer to be like sufficient. Because I remember when I joined, you had like 3 different Google Docs and spreadsheets that you linked me to. You're like, this is everything you need to know about everybody. Here's all the contacts you need. And then I got to going on talking to Careless Pandas and who was it? Vitamin C, because I that was the first match I ever commentated, and they they were really like responsive, especially when I was like, yeah, Juke sent me. They're like, oh yeah, okay. So like everyone, it kind of opened a lot of doors. So it was like, it's doors.
What?
So so I don't see how really anybody could kind of stumble and fall when entering this community in the casting position. So I'm glad to see someone run with it like Door. But here's another question I want to direct to either Juke or Spec, since you guys have like a really notched up place in the community's hierarchy, which is like, what is someone like, an example being like me or Door or someone who's like relatively new, have to do to like, or I guess what is your advice on how to like build up the person, like the image that you guys have, because everybody knows Specs from the podcast of just like the guy who's always giving the takes. He's having the most fun. He's like he's giving it all he's got, and I respect that. And then Juke's the guy who behind the scenes is making all these kids or boomers just somehow make a cohesive bunch, and it's always appreciated. Everybody loves you guys. So like, how do you get there?
I
What are the
mean, to
steps you
be
take?
honest, I don't even have any kind of position of power in the community at all. I'm just kind of a player. I mean, besides like starting Instalock and doing everything with that originally. Yeah, I'm just kind of a player. People think I'm a mod, but I'm not at all. There's kind of some reasons for that, but we'll leave that there. And to be honest, it's just being active. Just getting your head out there and being involved with the community. Definitely would recommend starting with your tier first and kind of knowing, getting everyone to know that what you are as a player, kind of your role and your personality with it too. I mean, don't be afraid to hold anything back. In my opinion, at least, it's the best way to get some people to know who you are. So just really being involved with the Discord. I mean, Twitter is a great way to do it too. But yeah.
And for you, Juke, what do
Yeah,
you think?
Uh, I mean, I guess my advice would be the same advice I kind of give people in life when, they feel like they're hitting a roadblock. Just like find something you want to do and start doing it. Like, nobody asked Impers to start making those, comms videos. He just did it, and they're awesome. I don't think I don't know the story of how the Iris podcast started. I don't know if that was like Cav said, "Hey, start a podcast." My assumption would be Yeti just did it. This podcast, nobody told you to start it. You just did it. Nobody told me to make docs and stuff for Twitch. I just did it. Like, just find a thing you want to do, especially something that you think, boy, it would be nice if somebody did that, and go out and get it done.
Gotcha. No, yeah, I think it's exactly what has been echoed in the community a lot, which is uh, all these people asking for content that just isn't there yet. And I think it's for no lack of people that are willing to do it, because I've noticed from talking to a lot of the people through these interviews and just in being in the community, is that everybody wants to contribute. They see what Impers is doing, they see what Juke's doing, they see what Specs, Ski, Thug, everybody's doing to just like add to the community via like media and other forms of like content creation, and are just like, oh, I want to see more of that kind of stuff. And then eventually the wheel gets turning, is like, well, what can I do to really add to what the community is already giving us, which is a lot. So um I'm excited to see what comes next. I feel like season 4 is going to be kind of a floodgate if season 3 already wasn't. Obviously my perspective is very skewed because I came in for season 3 and you guys seemed already like really established and what you guys were up to. And then when I got a deeper look when I joined the Twitch team and all this other stuff, I saw you guys making progress slowly throughout the season, and like just every little thing that could be kind of not harped on but like adjusted to be more cohesive, it was, which was really cool. But yeah, I think more stuff like what Impers is doing, like what both podcasts are doing, um, is all going to come from people's journalistic like drive just to report and document everything that we're doing, because it's also interesting. And I'm
Yeah,
not
and
one in this Twitch scene. Oh, go ahead.
I just wanted to say I'm in the same boat as you. I only came in like, I don't know, a few weeks before season 3 preseason tournament started.
Hmm, okay.
So I'm also new to the community. So yeah, like, don't think you have to be a veteran or whatever to
Yeah.
get involved.
And that's pretty
Juke,
surprising.
Juke jumped in this community straight into Twitch and was into the Twitch team. Was like, I'm gonna run this now.
Well, to be fair, I knew Zuby already, and I had done casting previously for a game nobody has heard of because you're Zoomers, Tribes 2.
We've heard of Tribes. What do you
Okay,
mean?
that one specifically.
Tribes.
Not
Well,
that
anyway,
Tribes 2 is a little obscure, but
it's very old.
we know what
and
Tribes is.
Wasn't terribly popular, but anyways,
Most of us here are
casting.
boomers.
Yeah, I did casting and stuff for that game, so I had some experience. But yeah, Zuby didn't, again, with the sort of going out on a limb, doing stuff on your own. Zuby didn't ask me to become a caster. I was just like, I've done it in the past. I'll see if I enjoy it. So I think it was Mini Hippos versus Karma. They had like just a scrim, and I was like, hey, let me watch your scrim. I'll cast your scrim, and they're like, sure, whatever. So I casted the scrim, and then I sent that to Zuby, and he was like, yeah, this seems pretty good, and that's how I got started.
Yeah, and I think one of the things you mentioned, like, oh, just go out and make something or do something. I don't think it necessarily has to come from that. I think one of the biggest things that you can do, just like working your way into the community, is just being a positive community member. Like for me, honestly, it was just things like, okay, I'll tweet out the match in the morning that I'm gonna cast, or that's gonna go on regardless of whether or not I'm casting it later that night. And then just even after the match, just hitting up the Harmony and Discord discussion tabs in the Discord and just talking to some of the players. I'll shout one or two of them out on Twitter after the matches if I think they did especially well, because I think they deserve a lot of the credit. And I think it kind of just having a general positive outlook on the community does a lot, and voicing that as well does the same. Even if you have a hot take like Specs or something like that, I think he still respects everybody here doing what they're doing, and I think it shows.
Yeah, and just real quick to go back to like how do people get started and like be productive in life in general. You don't have to just like have ideas and do stuff. a lot of the time you just talk to people and like opportunities. You would be surprised if you're positive and you talk to people and like make connections, opportunities will just fly your way. You just have to grab onto something.
I mean,
Like Zuby was talking about like, well, you know, problems, blah blah blah. We could use more casters, and then I was like, ooh, I'll get in on that. You know, and you know that's I've gotten in my career like that. In network administration, I've gone on trips and stuff just because people mention something. You know, they're going somewhere, so just like talk to people, be positive, and jump in on these adventures you can get in on.
yeah, I think that's one of the things is like, in the exact same vein, you don't really have to start anything so much as you can just jump on, and like as long as you're willing to help somebody out, that's gonna go a long way, and the word's gonna spread. And for me, like I can tell you, it's kind of a rant, not like a flex or whatever, but like I started here with Juke, and then I started saying, okay, to my university, do you guys need anything casted? They had me cast our Rocket League team, which is like #1 in the nation, and then from then on, all right, our esports club at the university finally gets sponsored by FSU Athletics, and FSU Athletics is a big deal because they have the football and whatever. And so then they get a room in the stadium, and then FSU Athletics is like, okay, we need to stream games. Who's the caster for the esports club? And okay, I'm the only guy doing anything. And so now I'm talking to FSU Esports, and it's just like, you don't have to go out and make the biggest things. You just have to make sure that you're consistent and available, and that when you're given an opportunity, you do a good job with it.
Mm-hmm.
That's cool though. That's congratulations to you for being the guy to step up for your university. Rocket
Like
League's
I
a
said,
hard esport to commentate. I tried it one time and it's
dude,
really
the
fast.
play. I'll rant real quick. The players at Rocket League for FSU are insane, dude. Oh my god, they're nuts. Yeah, no, they deserve all the credit.
You think any players like on Commit or Meteors or Vitamin C are cracked in this league? Or this community is too. In Rocket League, this is where I was going with that word. Was it's nuts. Like I've been to RLCS season 2. That was insane. And those players, shout out to them. Just a quick little aside to that. They're super cool to watch. I think that's the only sports game, like esport that I'm actually interested in. FIFA, I don't care. Madden, and boxing
FIFA.
ones.
Car soccer.
Yeah, but car soccer, that's where it gets me. I'm like, because it's a physics game. It's the same reason that like some of the characters like Wrecking Ball and Lucio like appeal to me in this game, where it's just like once you master the physics of the character, it becomes like the game becomes fun, like on a different plane than of just getting kills.
Yeah.
It's less linear, so that's why I really like. I don't play anymore because my brain's too smooth, but like it's super fun to watch and super just enticing to just interact with. Um, that's super cool for you, Door. And then I guess we'll kind of step away from what we're doing here or what we're recommending people do behind the scenes and talk more about something I know very little of, so I kind of have to get carried by anyone who knows. But it's just like season 4 and what's upcoming, because I know Juke, you mentioned that you have a couple ideas in the works for what we could do, and maybe you've talked to a couple people about what we are able to do. Specs, you also are on the podcast, so you know a little bit more maybe about what's going on. But is there anything you're able to indulge us in? Obviously, I don't know, asking you to give us cool secrets, but anything season 4 worthy, maybe about OD or anything cool about teams forming, stuff like that.
I mean,
Uh,
yeah, go for it. You're good.
just real quick about Twitch. I mean, we have like 5 pages of ideas, but as far as what we're what we're gonna do, that still needs to be discussed. I want to have a Yeti and the commissioners. I don't know. Boy, I didn't think about it. I don't know if they're adding a commissioner for the 3rd.
Yeah, it's
Here.
Yeti.
It's Yeti.
Ooh,
Oh, okay. That makes
interesting.
sense.
Okay.
So, anyways, yeah, we need to have a talk about like what they want to do, and then we'll have a talk about like how we can best facilitate the media to be like in line with what they want. So, sorry, go ahead, Specs.
Yeah, I think everything's pretty public at this point with what's going on, especially for the new tier, which is the Transcendence tier. No, there's been a lot of interest in that, and a lot of people are starting to get some things going on with teams and things are forming at this point. I think nothing's finalized with teams or who's going to be in what tier at this point yet. I think we have another about 9 days or so until teams have to kind of declare what they're doing. So should be getting more releases with everything start of the new year between Christmas and the New Year actually. So we'll see what goes on with that. But yeah, there's definitely a lot going on and a lot of people growing in the community, and it's great to see.
So, as someone who's pretty ignorant to like the top, so specifically like commit or like meteors, like I'm assuming are gonna go in.
Let's go with commit and eclipse.
Let's
I
go.
think they've earned their respect at this point.
Well, no, okay, yeah, you're right, Eclipse. I'm trying to I'm not really thinking about the off season as much or the postseason as much as I was just like how dominant, or at least as because coming from Prodigious, like we looked at our commit games or our meteors games or one last ride games. We're like, cheese and crackers, like we're not. This is not a team that we were expecting to ever play against, which was good. It's such good experience, obviously for us. But like, commit look at a game against us or against the, maybe like Sugar Rush when they were still around, or like Imphius or a couple of the other Invictus that just weren't, the caliber team to be able to take down commit. And I feel bad for teams like them because they're not getting the experience that they probably want of just rolling everybody. Obviously, it's cool on paper, but like when you're a team genuinely trying to improve, it's a little rough. But then you get to see this transcendence tier, and we get to see the talent pool coming out of that. And as someone who's not on the commissioning side or the free agent side of things, a player in a team, uh, what kind of talent we have in the community and what we're going to bring to the community, is it going to be enough to fill a whole tier, is what I'm like, I guess is my biggest concern as a player, because I saw like players on teams that were able to do it, but very rarely, aside from, like I said, commit. We'll just leave it there. We won't do meteors because then that begs the question of eclipse. But like, is there enough is there enough talent to be able to make a tier that big? Obviously it's up to us because it's open. It's like, do you think you're ready for this kind of stuff? And there's players on my team that consider themselves ready. They're like averaging like 4K like SR, so they're like, it would be weird to try to do Discord again. And we're like, okay. And then there's players on our team that are averaging like 3.5K SR, and they're like, then the question's a little bit more like, do we split up the team? And then that's another big question. Do you split up the synergy, hoping for more SR from new players, and maybe not get it, maybe not get the results you want? So we can talk more about that if anybody has opinions on that kind of stuff or knows a little bit more about a specific team or situations.
Just real quick, I want to make sure because I don't think any of us are really involved in that kind of the decision making from the community side.
Nope.
So that I can't really even speculate. I really don't know. They keep a lot of it pretty quiet, even in the admin channel. But yeah, like from a team side, I know I've had conversations with a lot of people like Booth, who were kind of in the same boat as me, where this season like really wore a lot of people out. And I think the Transcendence tier is going to be a lot more accommodating for the people that want to really push, practice as much as they can, that sort of thing. And then maybe we'll see the Discord tier sort of relax a little bit and be for the people who just want to, just play and have a good time. That's always been my personal goal. The things I want to improve on are like leadership and communication and things like that. I honestly don't care anymore about like getting better aim. But I thought it was interesting this season, like, sort of improving on my ability to like lead a team, in such a quick game like Overwatch. It's not something I've done before.
I mean, you mentioned it earlier, JuCoHi. You mentioned how like some teams came in and they just started playing, but for a team like Commit that's so hard focused on getting better, like even past just being the best. You look at a team like Commit and it's a different mindset to the other Discord teams. And I think that's been bred out of having such a long season or long commute. I don't know what we're supposed to call it at this point.
Season is fair game.
Having such a long season, you really separate out the teams that have the grind to make it to the very, very top. And granted, it's a tough ask for any team to go on for that long and to continue to get better. And I think that's going to be, like Juke mentioned, one of the nice things about having that new tier is you can have, and it's going to be a shorter season, and so teams will be able to have that drive for the full amount of time without at some point getting burned out, and then it's just whatever team can last longest at the top. And also the Transcendent tier will probably just garner a lot more attention from the people that are here to improve a lot. And I think we've seen a lot of improvement in the league. Like even Harmony, most of the Harmony players are looking at moving up next season anyways, and it's just
It'd be weird
I
if they
think this
didn't.
league-
They're crazy good now.
yeah, this league has fostered a lot of really great
Oh,
improvement.
that's 3.
That was actually
Oh,
4.
no.
I skipped the first
got
one he
me.
did, but
Oh,
yeah, it's
okay.
4. I'm keeping
We're
the
up to
mark.
4. We're up to 4.
This community is fostered. Has fostered a lot of improvement from all the players, and so I think the interesting thing is not whether or not we're able to get the people for teams next season. I honestly don't think that's a problem. I've heard a lot of outside interest from just teams that have players that aren't even in the league right now, of just like looking
5.
at joining or the community.
We did it.
No.
5.
Broke one hand. All
no.
right, next one.
At
All
looking.
right, so
at
Door's just
joining
gonna
the
be
community.
censored.
Yeah, just do that.
What's up, PD?
But I don't think we'll have any trouble filling out rosters. I think it'll be interesting to see what the teams do that are sort of in limbo right now, that have some players that are halfway in between the current Discord and Harmony and the upcoming Transcendent.
Yeah.
But I think the shorter season and having a third tier is going to help out a lot with the team burnout and the player improvement side of things.
Yeah, if I could jump in real quick, just to react to a couple things that have been said. Very very early on when we just started this conversation, you mentioned that like for a team like Commit, they don't really get that pressure anymore going into the season, and that like what they need to succeed. And I think you have a good point there, JuCo. But I also think like as someone who's been on the exact opposite side of that on Boop, where we almost had the worst season in Harmony, you do get that pressure regardless of where you are, because if you're winning all of them super easily, if you lose your first game, you're like vitamin C, right? That first loss is your whole season. It doesn't matter anymore. And so for Boop, we had like 0 wins, so we shouldn't have any pressure, right? Going into any games to win these, it doesn't matter. The pressure's not on us to win; it's on the other team to lose. But we still had all the pressure as that team who hadn't won. And I think for Commit and for teams like that, it's probably still the same way, where it's the pressure should still be on you as this undefeated team, or you're going to go the vitamin C route, or the illusion in postseason route, where as soon as you lose, that's your whole season. That's how it's defined.
I think Illusion's actually probably the best person to go up against Commit in the finals, because of
Illusion is
everyone
a
else in the
Harmony
league,
team?
What's that?
You mean Eclipse
Illusions-
or
Eclipse.
you
pardon me,
actually mean
Eclipse.
Illusion? Because that's
No,
a hot
Eclipse.
take.
'Cause I think Eclipse is probably the scariest team for Commit, because as
Maybe.
much as Commit have had this insane season, it's like it's been the one kind of question mark the whole time. And so and like you mentioned, even the teams at the lower end of the bracket, they still have that same amount of pressure on them as the upper teams. And I think that's one of the best things with this community in general, is that competition has just breeded so much success. And as we've seen teams like Commit really grind to get better and like scrim constantly, we've seen pretty much every other team step up and start scrimming just as constantly and really focusing on improving. I think it's brought everybody up as a whole.
Yeah, I also think that you said, JuCo, that like we might have trouble filling Transcendence tier, I think is what you said.
Mhm.
And it's gonna be really interesting. But
Mhm.
like I've been talking to some of the Commit members, and they're already worried going into this Transcendence tier, because I've talked to like Ice. I was like, you guys are gonna continue to succeed in Transcendence tier. But he came back and he said to me, and I'm sorry if this is taken out of context, Ice. I don't want to expose you, but he said like, if you compare the difference between like 4K teams, which is about where Commit rests, most of the time they're about 3.9 4K, to like 4.2K teams, there's a huge gap between that.
Mm-hmm.
In even just like 50 SR above 4K, there's that huge gap between these players. And so he said, like, commit in no way is going into this Transcendence tier expecting to just continue to dominate, knowing that these kind of players will probably be coming into the community. So I think if Transcendence attracts enough high tier players, it's not just going to be the Discord, the people who've like grown out of Discord tier in SR. It's going to be a lot of players who are going to put on a show with some teams that we don't expect to be losing a lot.
That'd
That's
be
definitely true.
optimal. Yeah, having a little upset of balance to kind of level out what we're used to would be really cool. I'm also like more. I'm not only worried about the player base that would be filling up as the the contenders of that tier. I'm also worried about the strain of our staff, kind of because we already have trouble. Well, not trouble, but it gets a little stressful when you're just relying on people that are also players to have the time dedicate to also casting matches, producing matches, and then you add one more tier and potentially like I don't know how it's gonna change, but like another day on which like the Transcendence tiers games will be on. It's just it's everybody's getting spread wider and wider, and with more people in the community comes more casting talent and stuff like that. So hopefully, with growth becomes not only growth but the player base, but the community as a whole. So I don't know. I'm trying to think of all the things that could go wrong as is part of my personality. So
I, I will say on that front, I think we're okay as far as staffing for Twitch team. I know we're a little abundant because like a lot of the players are out of the playoffs and they have more time right now. But I think in general, one of the ways that I tend to operate is like anytime something needs to get done and I'm not exactly sure how to do it, I make instructions on how to do it, and then it's like written down how to do it. So, it's much easier to like onboard people, and get them up to speed on exactly how we do things and that sort of thing. So, as long as we have like the outline for what we want from casters, then people with casting talent, I don't think it should be hard for them to come in if we need more. But yeah, I think we'll. This is one of the things I'm actually kind of excited about. So the Owl season is going to be Saturdays and Sundays only, which should open up a lot more time for us to do hopefully more broadcasts per week. And I think
Friday
it's
games,
something that
nice.
yeah, I think it's something that we'll be capable of. So I'm really excited about that. I
do we
know
have a definite
we're
structure of that yet? Like knowing that? Or...
the
Okay.
definite structure of that is not worked out just yet. So, but we're pretty confident that we'll be able to get in more broadcasts.
Interesting. Okay.
And yeah, I'm not sure if we've actually. I think we've had some discussions about this, but unless you're doing anything else in the off season, this might be the last broadcast that you do that's not on the official channel, because I was waiting on. First, I wanted you to get like a little more experience and like feel comfortable in what you're doing before just throwing it on the main channel and like having more eyes on it. It's definitely more pressure, so it can kind of affect how you work. And then like art and stuff. So we're also having like big plans for bringing in a lot more of the community to do like art for overlays, splash screens, media stuff, be real. We're having probably more community to help us on the back end of things, like maybe getting stuff organized in Anchor so that it goes out to podcast networks and stuff like that. So yeah, this is another chance where I was saying, just keep your ears open and jump on if there's ever something that sounds interesting to you. If you're interested in learning about any of that media production stuff, let me know. We'll see where we can fit you in for season 4.
Yeah.
Nice. That's a good
Typically,
opportunity.
JuCo is interviewing, but now it's a hiring process interview between Juke and JuCo.
Well, see, that was part of the reason. So everyone who doesn't know, Juke has the assistant role in this podcast, and that was part of it. I was worried that if there was ever a day where someone wanted to do one of these and I wasn't available, that I could like recruit somebody, and Juke was the first person to like actually try to help me with this whole process. So I like entrusted Juke as that person if that ever became a thing. Also, I another reason was that if Prodigious ever wanted to do an interview, I didn't want to be the guy to do it because it'd feel weird. So I was like,
Well,
well,
you can
JuCo,
interview
Yeah,
yourself.
I still wanna do that at some point.
well, we're thirsty for one, so that's good to know. We have so
Okay.
much to say. We have
Are
a
you gonna
lot
get
of
the
hot
modified
takes.
boys in there?
The modified boys and gals are more than welcome to come as well. I hope that everybody, and because the prodigious community is really big, we're actually having our meetup here soon. Um, so we definitely want to spread our wings in the community a little bit more and be we're kind of a trashy team, to be honest. So we might get a bad rap at first, but we love more than we hate. So we'll back everybody up in situations. That's what I love about my team, the community. Aside from this, but I guess more back to what I wanted to talk about was well, actually, before I do that, Specs, I know you're on a bit of a time crunch. Was there anything you wanted to specifically talk about on this interview?
I mean, not specifically at this point. I mean, I'm personally pushing towards playing in Transcendence. So excited to see what's happening with that. Wouldn't be surprised with that tier specifically if there's more outside teams joining in than anything else. I think Discord's pretty much locked in with teams that either currently exist or moving up from Harmony. So I think we're going to see a lot of players at the upper end of the Discord tier currently kind of join forces and figure out what they're going to do in a Transcendence tier. Also, a little word of advice to anyone that's looking in starting a team: really know what you're getting into. It's a absolute ton of work, and I thought I could do it, and everything would be fine. But ultimately, that's kind of what led to me leaving Instalock. It's just the amount of work it takes behind the scenes, and managing a team and everything with that. So I think the teams that we've seen be successful for multiple seasons, minus commit, so Tough Luck, and Meteors, that kind of thing. There's a real big community behind that. So if you're going to start a team, make sure you have a couple people around you that can help kind of bear the load. I think that's kind of what led to some teams dropping out this season and kind of things with that. So definitely make sure you have that community within a community to really be successful. So
That's cool.
If I can jump in, I want to make sure while we still have Specs, I've always been interested. So like I think you two are kind of like polar opposites in terms of like I don't know, hosts or interviewers.
mm-hmm.
I feel like Specs, he's known for the hot takes, kind of being the one that's willing to
Piss people off. Yep.
Let me put it this way. Like
Put it how it is.
I think I've said multiple
Let me break it down.
times. I think I've said multiple times that if the podcast was just everyone being really nice about all the teams in the community, it would be really boring.
Mhm.
So I'm kind of glad for what Specs brings to that. But I think I have, tried to tell him, like you can have hot takes and like say it nicely. But at the same time, I've told JuCoHi a lot of times, like, damn it, man, you have to stop agreeing with everyone and being so nice. You need to
Right,
get up in
yeah.
there sometimes. You really need to like try and wrench out the good stuff.
I mean, at the end
I
of the
do that,
day,
that's true.
like we still gotta make this entertaining. We are in like the business of entertain, not business, but we're.
Well,
here
I
to
mean,
entertain,
I don't know about
like-
you guys. I'm getting a salary, so it's fine.
What?
Just
that,
kidding.
that Twitch Prime money hasn't come through yet. My 3
Hey,
pennies.
you guys are getting a salary. I'm just stealing from the company.
Excellent.
Yeah.
No, yeah, you're entirely right. I look up to Specs in that
We
regard
should
of
just
being able to
flame
say
Yuko
what he wants.
on his interview style.
But-
That's what we should
Oh,
do. Just come and do
but
his
I-
podcast and flame him.
JuCo, just stop caring what people think about you, and then you can say whatever
So-
you want.
But
So Specs, do you have any advice for JuCo to get in there and
Sensei Specs.
get those hot takes?
I mean, it'll kind of be a shock with things. I'm pretty rational with most of this shit, and a lot of the things I really go on tangents on, I believe to a degree, but not especially to the fact of how much I'm playing it up. I don't know. I really enjoy just kind of playing that villain with it. So again, just going out of your comfort zone and kind of doing some things differently than you normally would. Because if anyone, I mean, for the people that met me in Chicago or players I've had with Tough Luck and Instalock and Sugar Rush last season, I'm more reserved than most people think. I normally don't say a word. So just kind of breaking out the comfort zone and doing things a little bit differently is it's always fun to do. So just stepping out of the comfort zone. That's really it.
I think it's also important to establish if you're gonna meme around with a specific person, establish it with them first. Make sure it's consensual. Make sure they aren't gonna be upset. Like Nick on the podcast gets memed on a bit, but like everyone loves Nick, and it's for fun. It's for the banter. It's no one actually wants to hurt his feelings. Like I meme around with so many people in Trank, especially in Harmony discussion. But I have no ill will towards any of them. I think they're a bunch of great people, and they know that it's just banter. So it's cool. But if they don't know it's banter, that's when you have a problem.
Right. No, I see that a lot. I'm really bad at interpreting what people's feelings are from what they type. I've noticed this.
Oh, it's hard to do.
Yeah, it's just like
Yeah.
sometimes I'm reading stuff and like I'm in a bad mood, and then I see something and I'm like, oh, that person must be in a bad mood too. Time to guard dog it and just bark at this person on the internet for 30 minutes. But yeah, like I find that rough, and like a part like of my mentality's defense mechanism towards that kind of stuff is to just always just agree, just like hit him with the yeah sure haha xd ooh woo, because like I'm not trying to start an argument with anybody on the internet. That's because then it's just two people yelling at a screen, and I there's beer to drink and parties to be had. Like I don't have time to get caught up in the details of all that stuff. But you're right. Like I need to step up the with the questions of so you were one like if I talk to Ice, right? Like I did the commit interview, a bunch of really cool people, and I hit him with the like, so there's been a rumor that people found you juicing before games with Adderall. What do you have to say about that? And then he can hit me with that's completely like off base. That's never happened. You made that up. And then wow, now I have more views and more entertainment value. But
see what you want to do is like you want to hit him with the hard stuff, but you want to do it in a way where it doesn't seem like you're attacking them. Like I think I've told you. I think I've
Juke,
told
do
you
you
like, one of
resent
my favorite...
Specs for leaving Instalock?
I do.
No, he opened up a spot on a team when I was on Otaku. So for that 1 week. But I think I've said my favorite interviewer is Louis Theroux. I'm not sure if anybody's familiar with him.
You linked me a bunch of stuff. He's super cool.
he's from the BBC, and he started out doing interviews with these like his first show, I think it was called Louis's Weird Weekends or something, and he would like go to people that believe in aliens, people that believe in ghosts, and he would just kind of play along with them but try to get more out of them, saying like so the aliens, what are they, little gray men? And just kind of nod and smile. But he would try to get a little more out of them. So like, for instance, when you were asking Ice about Adderall, he would say like, Ice, I want to give you an opportunity to defend yourself. People say you use Adderall. So, like present it in a way where you're not the bad guy.
When they're incriminating themselves.
Yeah, you have to like it. I don't want to say trick people, but like.
But you did.
Don't put it out there that you are. Don't push the information out there in a hostile way, and you'd be surprised at what people are willing to say to you. And it sounds kind of like underhanded, but it's not. Like you just want interesting information like everyone else. Yeah, you just want to know the shit that you want to know. So, I mean, don't be afraid to like try and get stuff out of people. Just don't, like smash it in their face.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, you've had me on 2 interviews now, JuCo, or is this 3 for me?
Bard?
Is that a flex?
You're stuck in here. I don't know how many you've done. I think just 2.
I think this is 2.
Yeah.
And you haven't asked me a single thing about Boop being the 3rd worst team.
Okay, well see,
So I just gotta say,
you all are super nice. I don't know.
Such an opportunity. We're all nice. We're not gonna be upset if you.
I want to
ask
meet
us.
someone
Most
mean
of us
so I
won't
can
be
attack
upset
them.
if you ask us.
Yeah, but even if you had someone mean on the show, if you were
That's
attacking them, your audience would not be happy with you.
My
They would
audience
be-
love me.
They would. Well, I mean, I guess
they don't want you to agree with
let me put it this way: in the Twitch age, maybe they would, but like
I know what you mean, though.
historically,
Yes.
Historically, even when you have someone bad on like a legitimate interview program, you don't just like call them an asshole or whatever. You ask them questions that are like getting to the
Why
bottom.
are
of
you
stuff.
bad?
And I think
Yeah.
that's the thing. Don't make it personally. If you look at a lot of the hot takes or whatever that Specs has, it's not like saying X is bad. Maybe saying X is playing out of form or like X isn't playing up to whatever level. But usually it has something to do more so with an entire team, and so you're not there's nothing personal behind it. And it's the same thing in all these cases, as like Juke is mentioning, like with the guy interviewing the people who believed in the aliens. It's like, okay, he's not attacking the person. He might ask, even if it's indirectly, he's asking about the belief, not the person's belief in said belief, but the actual thing itself. And so, just I'd say don't attack the person. Really, just make it as impersonal as you can. So it's like Bard mentioned, Boop being like third to last in the league or whatever. It's like you don't say, "Oh, hey, why did Boop suck?" It's like, "Oh, do you think like Boop might have underperformed compared to how you guys might have been able to do, or like what differences do you think need to be made?" You know, frame it in a positive light, but don't go after any specific person or thing.
Yeah, just to steal the mic for one more thing. When I do coaching, one thing I very intentionally do is when I'm like writing notes, I don't say Jim here should have done X. I said the ideal thing for Lucio here would be to do X instead, right? So you're like not making it about the person, you're making it about the thing that they should have been doing instead. And not even them, but like the character. So, you know, there's a lot of ways that you can say the same thing without, you know.
What if it wasn't Lucio's fault and Jim was the problem? What if
Look, man,
Lucio was doing just
Well,
fine?
Jim was controlling the Lucio. He was just doing a real shit job.
I just tell them they're bad, man. I just blame them.
So your widow comes to practice and she's high. What do you do?
JuCo,
Widow.
do not say that.
They would say,
Nobody
like,
knows who I'm
he
talking
would say,
about.
like,
Bart.
it's hard
They'll
for
know.
anyone to play Widow
They don't
when
know.
they're this high.
If they watch the interview, they'll know.
She
JuCo.
speaks French. She doesn't know what I'm saying.
All right. Well, now we all know who it is.
Widowmaker is not a hero to be played under the influence.
Now we know.
I mean,
Thank you.
Let's
disagree
be
with
real,
that
there's
one.
only, like,
But...
Oh, well, see, now, okay, now there's a
That's
debate.
the influence, and 1.5 of them are Junkrat.
Let's do this, JuCo. I want you to go around and I want you to get one. So
Get one hot take on each person.
yeah, try to get one thing that you want to find from everyone, even if you don't think it's something we want to talk
This
about.
podcast
Right
is
now?
gone. This is our
Let's
podcast
do it.
now, dude.
Right
Okay,
now.
so
I'm teaching you
Look,
to be
I've
spicy.
talked to JuCo about this. I said if I'm on, I'm gonna make you ask the hot questions.
okay, Bart,
Get one for me real quickly because
Oh,
I have to head
Specs.
out right after
Okay.
Yeah,
Thanks,
get the ones in spec.
Specs.
Yeah.
How does it feel to be the only person? See, I don't know. You're too cool. You're I don't know.
How does it feel to be
You're
called
gonna
spicy?
Yeah, it's no. Okay. So what was it about your personality that made you incapable to be a team captain?
It wasn't anything personality-wise. It was the amount of commitment it had to do with me just graduating school and working, and I had a lot of personal things going on. So it wasn't anything, I think, leadership quality-wise. Because I know some people know this at this point, but I played college hockey and then hockey growing up my whole life. So it was always like either some sort of president for a team or some kind of captain. So I have a lot of experience with doing it and managing people. But just kind of real life things, kind of shit hit the fan the last year. So a lot of that took my time away. It sucks having to do that. It was definitely a bit of a shot to the pride there with everything going on. But I'm glad I did it, and mentally and as a player in Overwatch too, it helped me out a lot. So I'm really glad that happened.
All right, that felt cool.
So.
All right.
All right, guys, thank you.
Hey, thanks for coming,
All right,
Specs.
thanks, Specs.
Yeah.
Bye,
Let's
Specs.
Specs.
Peace. Have a good one. All right. So then, PD.
Specs.
Here's a good one.
Yeah.
So
Wait, PDK kid.
yeah, PD's here
Hello.
always.
Hello.
Yeah, PK could jump
The
in
J
here out
Silly.
of nowhere.
Yeah, this
He's
is
a caster now.
this is an easier one because I can. PD, what about a first-person shooter is so not enticing that makes you think that Junkrat's a viable character?
God damn it. I don't know how to aim, so I picked the easiest hero, and I kind of just I work on that. So
Look, PDK, I feel you. Anubis and Nepal Sanctum are like Junkrat heaven. I will run them every time on that map.
Yeah, I love Junkrat.
yeah.
I
Whenever
felt weird
every-
just to
I
say
love
that.
Junkrat.
whenever I want to. I don't really
Junkrat.
care.
All right, cool.
So-
I've been enjoying him a lot. He's a little bit of a weird pocket pick, but he's fun.
Yeah, he's definitely fun, especially when he had like 5K tires.
Surprisingly viable, yeah.
All right. Now I have Juke. How many teams will it take you to finally understand how to play Overwatch?
What?
I
Eight?
mean, I understand. Here's the thing. So I think I have a good understanding of how to play. I just can't do it.
Oh well, there you go. Okay,
That's fair.
that's fair.
It's understandable.
Yeah, no, I think that's why I'm on main tank.
Mm-mm.
I don't get it, but you know.
I heard a rumor Juke still plays with the arrow keys.
No, really?
No, I actually so
I swear to God.
here's
I was making that up.
no. Here's aging myself. So, I have been playing FPS games so long that I was around when people were like first moving away.
Oh, when they were still
arrow keys.
questioning like what
Yes.
keys to use, yeah.
So it just so happened that at the LAN cafe that I fucking played Quake at, everybody used ESDF. They just all apparently everybody there agreed in their little community that ESDF was better, and I can see why. Your fingers are on the home row keys, and it's like arbitrary. What is better about WASD other than that's what games use? Nothing.
Yeah.
So ESDF,
Right.
fingers are on the home row keys. Seems like there's a reason.
I like that.
So
yeah.
whenever I have like a chance to switch, I just go ahead and switch back to ESDF.
That's kind of cool. I like that. Might try that
I
out.
remember when online games swapped from arrow keys to WASD. I do not like. I was too young to be a part of that
Can we
conversation.
age everybody in here? I'm curious.
But I remember
I
the-
honestly don't know.
Well,
a
let's
lot.
not do numbers. Let's do like things that were happening around you.
Okay,
when
what
you
was
first started
everyone's
gaming.
What was everyone's first FPS?
Oh no, I don't.
My first
you're
FPS was
excluded. You're
007
opinionated.
Nightfire for the Nintendo GameCube.
Ooh.
Actual fact.
I know I mentioned playing Quake at LAN cafes. I don't remember if my first game was Quake or if it might have been Doom. But both are pretty fucking old.
Oh,
so,
yeah, Doom-
I'm old.
Doom kind of. Yeah, never mind. Mine.
But
actually-
I did play when I was very very young. So I'll say that as well.
Dora, what was yours?
Oh my God, I'm trying to. What is it? Oh, I'm sorry. I forget things a lot.
You did?
So Ultimate Arena or what was it? Not Arena. Oh God.
Unreal Arena?
Yeah.
Unreal Tournament and stuff like
Unreal
that.
Tournament,
Yeah.
That was it.
Okay.
But
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
was
Unreal's really fun.
young when I was playing.
Mine, and if you
I'm
guys
gonna
have played
I'm
this,
just put a number to myself. I'm 20, so it's
same. Okay,
Yeah.
but if you guys have played these, bad respect because they were not popular. But mine were the Medal of Honor games.
Ooh, I liked
Like,
Warfighter and
the
Vanguard a
early
lot.
ones. And back when COD was rated T for teen, I was also playing those. Those were my first FPSs, and then Halo was immediately afterwards.
Oh, I forgot about Halo.
Did you do the hard question for everyone yet?
I haven't done above my name. I haven't done Door and Bard.
Okay, go. We
Okay.
don't have much time.
Yeah, we don't.
Yeah.
Also, Ice might join at any second. So Door. How many matches has it been since you've taken a breath?
Dude, I know these seven.
Honestly,
seven-game
these are
matches
great. I love these.
These 7-game matches are so good. Like they mentioned during the finals of Harmony, it was like Yeti was like dying by the end of it. I think it's kind of a weird thing. I goal kept for a really long time. I played a lot of soccer, and when I was in Germany, I played at like the top level, to the point where I was on like I was on 4 teams at the same time. I was on the base team. I was on my regular German team. I was on the like tri-state German team. And I was also on the Olympic squad for
Not trying
the
to flex,
US
but
Europe. No, but I'm saying I'm playing like
But a
4
flex-
teams at the same time.
Yeah.
I'm practicing like a lot every day. And so what you do when you're goalkeeping is you yell really loud, like a lot. And so I think honestly, it's literally just been the fact that I did that for like a really long time that my voice is able to withstand it. Because I feel like even after I casted, I think it was at the beginning, I think it was either play-ins or quarterfinals. I casted like 3 nights in a row, best of 7s, and I felt fine even after that. So we're living so far. But yeah, no, I don't know when I'm gonna run out of breath. We'll see.
And then we'll have Bard, and then we'll have to introduce the idea to Ice. Also introducing Ice. Hello, Ice.
Hello.
But Bard. There's some obvious
Hit-
ones I should
Hit me with them
mention,
all.
but all right. Well, we'll start small. Ice. How does it feel to be mentally superior than the rest of your peers?
I don't know about that one.
Well, he played on Boop, so I mean.
Well, there you go.
That's kind
No,
of tough.
No. I'm helping Boop now. I'm a coach. It's okay.
Oh, wait, okay, yeah, no, wait, I totally forgot to
because I love them.
I forgot to introduce the concept to Ice. So Ice, I have an affliction where I don't say, right? I don't often say like hot take questions, like try to get people to talk. So
Yeah.
Juke has proposed this idea where I say things that like I wouldn't normally say. Like I don't
Okay.
think that about Bard at all, but I'm trying to get out of my comfort
Don't
zone
worry, nobody thinks that about Bard.
and channel my inner Specs. I think this is the
Yeah.
activity that
Okay.
I'm trying to do. So yeah,
got
it was very toxic, but Bard has a reputation in my Discord for skewing arguments, and I love it.
Oh,
I love watching it. So
I love everyone in your Discord. I kind of like to watch them implode.
right.
That's
As
a
you do
weird
with
thing,
people.
but-
Yeah, it's fun.
Gotcha. Okay. Ice, I don't
You got-
know enough
you got a
about
hot take on Ice?
things I could. I don't know. Like Ice,
I
how
got
does
some
it?
hot takes on Ice.
Talk
Well,
about
yeah.
the finals, dude. You got there's
I
so
do-
much.
Oh,
I
I
got
guess
some
yeah,
hot
that's
takes.
true.
What
I
do
could
you
talk
got?
about the finals.
Yeah.
So
Like the
ask him,
final I have
ask him
tomorrow.
about his winner and his loser speech. What's the difference?
Ice, what's it gonna feel like when you lose to Eclipse?
that's true. Ooh.
Okay.
Do you have speeches prepared?
Non-existent.
Well, we've had final season, so like I'm still doing finals now, and like a lot of our team has been doing finals, so we haven't had too much time to prep for finals like last week, but we've been
Already the
lot of
excuses.
scrimmage.
Hey, vitamin C.
yeah, but we've been doing quite a bit of scrimming week, trying to work out the meta and stuff.
Dude, this meta's
Um,
weird. I'm excited though, because it's like right a week in. It's gonna be the perfect
That is
time.
bad dumb.
Yeah,
It looks
but I
like
can
every
finally stop
support's
playing more.
viable and no tanks are viable. That's my take.
yeah.
Yep.
I can finally stop playing more. It's a great time. But yeah, honestly, like I have that. There's an expectation that we win, and like I'd
I
like to
lose
think
real
that-
money if you lose, so please don't.
Okay. But yeah, like we've
Yeah,
right, so
we've
pro.
worked on a lot, and like I'd say there's a solid chance we win. But yeah, the Clips is good. So if we lose them, I wouldn't feel too bad.
Well, there
Yeah,
you
I
go.
don't think you have anything to feel bad about. We talked about it earlier on the podcast when you were here, but like, of all the teams in the league, Eclipse is probably the biggest upset potential of any team. So I don't think there's any.
Well,
real-
if you look at it from the minute they turned on, which I can say from experience as the team that they turned on against,
yeah.
like they've been pretty unbeatable since then. So
Now
like,
you're just scaring them.
well,
I
I
mean,
know
we
well,
did we
it's-
did beat them.
Yeah, I'm
Here's
about
the
to say,
thing
like,
that
I
I'm
think the
seeing.
only team that was able to actually stop them when they got their snowball going was you guys. So, like, obviously you guys have done it. So it's
Can I
Oh.
cash in some scrim bucks and say Instalock was doing just fine against Eclipse and scrims?
Well,
Can I
no,
come
no,
I ranked,
Whoa.
for Eclipse when you
There's
guys.
no such thing as scrim bucks.
yeah, scrim
Yeah,
bucks
I
are
mean-
kind of weird. Like we've beaten teams in scrims that we later got rolled. So like it
Boop-
doesn't.
Boop
can I-
beat
okay.
teams
Damn
in
it.
scrims.
Yeah, but
Can
that's
I
all we
just-
have
Doesn't
because
matter.
we lost all the games. We lost everything.
Well, there you go.
So when I was on DDoS, so we 3-2'd Vitamin C and Scrims, and literally made them rage quit. No offense to anyone, but I'm not gonna say names. And then the following week we lost 3-1 to them. So
I will. Who
it's
was
like,
it?
Well,
it was like the person who left like right after our match. Like, they just dipped from the community.
oh, they're a DPS player.
Oh, that was
yeah,
Polar,
yeah.
wasn't it?
Well, I don't know about that.
It was Arrow.
It was, the guy with All Might is his.
Yeah.
They're gone. Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'd say I can't go look it up, but I remember that. I remember that happening. I remember you guys talking. Well, I remember him talking. I don't know. That was weird. That whole week was weird because we had a bunch of people on the podcast saying stuff, and we had a bunch of like spats in like the Harmony tier, which I never knew how at each other's throats you guys could get. I was like, wow, this was really scary. Because like my previous experience with Discord was like the closest thing we had to like any disputes was like Specs or like Light Rose saying that like we just didn't know how to play the game, And I was like, well, that's unfair. But I was like, oh, it's whatever. Like it's just people popping off. But then like there was like genuine threats going on in Harmony tiers. Like I will eat you alive, or like I will come to your house
Shimanzi
and
said some
take your
things.
dog for a
That's
walk.
weird champ right there.
Like,
Shimanzi said some. Don't want to say him, but he said some weird stuff in Harmony discussion.
stuff has been said. It's weird. It's weird down there.
It was
Let's be
too
honest,
Bard,
all
too.
the Vitamin
Bard,
C
remember
guys say
that?
some weird stuff in Harmony discussion sometimes.
But
I'm gonna steal the mic here.
hit it.
I know we don't have long left.
No.
And
I haven't gotten a hot take yet.
One of the main reasons,
Well, that's
one of the main
true.
reasons I wanted Twitch team to be on here is I want people to be excited for season 4.
Woo.
So again, we have like 5 pages of stuff that we're planning for season 4.
Oh damn.
Everything from more art, like media stingers, overlays, logos. Working in again, I want to work in Beat Drop to the official channel and have you on there on the bigger audience. More games for more feature matches, pre-recorded stuff, more people, easier to use the production package.
Halftime shows.
Yeah, more moderators in chat, getting us more clips so we have more stuff to use for official matches. Let's see, more like better information for our casters. So we've been doing these like match sheets. JuCo, Dor, Bard, I think you guys have all seen them. It's just like information on what's going on, so it's like easier to know as a caster. Better job attributing everybody, more additional content. There was like a game show that I wanted to do season 3, but I never really got a chance. Yeah, just tons and tons and tons of stuff. If you are interested in doing anything in media, moderation, casting, production, let us know for season 4. We will try to get you in there. We are going to be putting out applications for more staff very shortly.
Nice. I don't know if I can do a hot take on you. I really don't. Besides your team, like I don't know anything about you specifically. You're very new to me. But,
Yeah, well,
But
He's
I
not
mean,
new.
that's a lot of
Just
people.
make fun of Mark for him.
yeah.
Oh yeah, Marv.
Oh, Marth. Oh. Marth said that we were bad, and I don't think we are. There you go. That's my
Oh,
biggest.
that's
I don't.
fair.
Again, I don't know Marth as well. He's been really nice to me. Everyone's been super nice. Like, it's just
Are
really
you
hard.
kidding me? Marf's not a nice person.
Marth is nice to me.
Mark yelled at me.
Okay, Marf's a wonderful person. He's
Marf
funny.
is-
Marf is always
yelled at me, okay?
well-mannered.
You joking? No one in Trank right now is a bad person except maybe me,
Oh.
and that's just because
I don't
I
wanna-
use too many puns in casting, and that's why I'm on the bottom of the list right now.
Dude,
Are you the one that said commit like 11 times during the game?
Yep.
COMMIT.
Yep.
Dude, I've got some ones I was real
Are you kidding
proud
me?
of in the
Juke, I
last
said
few
afterwards I
matches.
was trying to say commit as many times as possible.
You also
Okay,
called
don't
Specs a
say-
feeder too many times.
Just don't.
Also said what? PDK?
Specs is a feeder during the top.
No, I said that like 3 times in a.
You said
in
that more
one
than
game.
3.
I have no idea what you mean. I was
I literally write down the puns as I think of them in the days upcoming to the match. Like I'll put them down in the notes on my phone and I'll make sure to work them into the match, dude. The last few have been like so good.
He's admitted to having a pun sheet.
Yeah, no,
Excellent.
dude, I can't.
That's fair.
I came up with like one on the fly during a Careless Pandas game, and then that was
I don't even write them down. They just come to me and I
yeah,
have
no,
to
some
say
of
them.
them come like because I have to think of like stuff to like close out team fights with, like whatever closing statement for the team fight, summarizing it, and like a lot of the time they'll just come to you then,
About to say we kind of said it to nauseum during our game together, Dora, which was anything you can do, I can do better. We just started like halfway after halftime, which is every team fight. We're like, well, we'll just add that in there because might
And
as
it
well
was the
now.
story of the night.
It was, and I liked it, but it was after the rewatch, I was like, I've heard this a lot now. But yeah, on that note, we will kind of have to. Oh, hi, dog. We will have to probably wrap this up. It is about an hour in, and everyone's got a little lives ahead of them. So, is there any final remarks you want to hear from anybody? Juke wrapped up what we were talking about with the Twitch really well. So, awesome stuff there. Door, Ice, Bard, PD, any cool
I
statements?
just want to say more puns in casting more puns in the Iris podcast, more memes in the channels.
Isn't Nixel already the meme in the podcast?
No,
Oh.
more memes in the channels, and also PDKK's right specs is a feeder.
I'll screenshot my pun sheet and send it here. And
Oh,
Alright,
gosh.
or if you do not send me puns to my DMs so that I can use them in
Send your punch
games.
to my
you're
PO
gonna
box.
be, we're
no
gonna have a
miss
problem.
Discord finals. Those are on.
Yeah,
Yeah.
those are.
Well,
Wait,
get ready to
who's
watch
casting
us.
those? Leaks? Who's casting the Commit Eclipse final?
I am.
Well,
Is it me and you, Juke? I thought it's me and you.
It is Door, Juke, Light Rose, and I think Spec's gonna be the lobby host. Yeti
Boy, we're
is
stacked.
producer.
What the heck?
Woo! Sounds
Yeah.
stacked.
I feel like every time I see a Twitch team, every time I see the sign up sheet and I see like 4 people on there, it's always a stacked roster. Dude, the Twitch team has gotten so good over the
That's not
yeah,
true.
stacked roster for a stack game.
stacked community.
Yeah. Okay, there you go, Dory. You didn't say the L word.
I didn't.
We
I've
finally full
contributed to
circle.
over like half of that count.
And that game is Wednesday at 8:30 p.m.
Yeah.
Tune in.
Plug.
Twitch.tv/OW Tranquility.
To see more of some people you heard today. But that'll probably be it.
Commit Rage Face. If I don't see a Rage Face in the title of the finals, I'm
Where did that
literally
name come
writing.
from?
That was cool, Sam.
Okay.
Yeah, it was. I think it was in. Might have been in the podcast, but yeah.
Gotcha. Well, I think that'll be it. Thanks for everybody who tuned in. Thanks for everybody who came out to this. This was dope. And so Bard, Door, Ice, Juke, PD, Specs, myself. And that's probably gonna be it. Everybody say goodbye.
Adios.
Bye.
Bye.
Everyone.